Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where we're working together step by step through each of the ABRSM Theory grades. There are lots of resources available to help you on my website. If you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets. You can download those in US letter or A4 and they accompany each step of this series. There's also a page with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can access information about the books that I have available. I've written an exam technique guide, how to take your ABRSM Music Theory Exam. It's full of hints and tips on how to best prepare for your exam, and also how to make the best use of your time when you're working through your exam paper on exam day. So if you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find it's all there. If you can give me a like, that'd be really fab, and subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's lots more in store. And so now we're going to continue with the first of the 2015 papers, and so turn with me to page 3 and we'll have a look at question 5. And so I always recommend that you try these on your own first of all. Doesn't matter if you go wrong, you can always just rub them out. Always work in pencil, nice sharp pencil. I use a mechanical pencil just so it stays sharp and neat and tidy. And so I'm hoping you've had a go at this, and now we'll work through this together. So this is just a case of keeping your eyes peeled because we're going to keep changing clef. We need to add the correct clef to make each of these named notes correct, as shown in the first answer. Now there's different ways you can approach this. You can either just start from a point that you know and you're familiar with, middle C, or you can think of the rhymes. So the base clef is good boys deserve football always and all cows eat grass, or whatever makes sense to you. The more silly you make it, the more memorable it will be. And so that would have to be bass clef. If it was treble clef, the spaces spell face, F-A-C-E, and so that won't be correct. And so have a little go of these, and then I'll just whiz through these and we'll go and double check them together. So in order for this to be a B flat, we need to think this would be middle C in the bass clef, and one below middle C would be B flat, so that's correct in the bass clef. If it were the treble clef, if you think it goes every good boy deserves football, that top line is an F, one above F would be G, and so that's not correct. However, here in the treble clef, every good boy deserves is the line, so that's correct for treble clef. Now the spaces in the treble clef spell face, F-A, so that's correct. If that was the bass clef, that would have to be a C for all cows. It's as if in the treble clef everything's dropped, in the bass clef everything drops down a space or drops down a line. And so here, every good boy would be treble clef, but good boys deserve is bass clef. There we go. Middle C, that's middle C in the treble clef. You need to remember that the kind of meet in the middle, the treble's the top, the bass is the bottom, and middle C is in between both of those two staves in the middle. So that's treble clef. Every good is treble clef. If that was bass clef, that would be good boys B. So every good boy deserves football, that's treble clef for F sharp. Just be careful where you position those. The treble clef centres around that second line, the G line. It used to be called the G clef, and the bass clef starts on this second line down. It used to be called the F clef, so we start there. So just be careful where you position those. Okay, cracking on. So all cows eat, that's bass clef. Now here we need to start from a position we're familiar with. In the bass clef we know it goes good boys deserve, so if that's a G, one below G would be F, so that's bass clef. If that were treble clef, that would be one above middle C, which would make it a D. And the last one, all cows, C sharp, is bass clef. There we go, that's that done. You just have to sort of keep your wits about you there. You might find it helpful to sketch out those silly poems just to remind yourself before you even start, and then you don't have to keep reacting. You can just keep referring to that and you've done your thinking once rather than trying to rack your brains lots of times. So let's now move on. So turn the page with me to page 4. We're going to have a go at question 6. And so now we're asked to rewrite this following melody, and we need to re-beam, properly group these notes. So before we get writing, let's think about what we're going to have to do. So we always have to group things to reflect the time signature. We're counting in crotchet beats or quarter notes, and so we need to reflect that in the way we beam things. And so we know that these semiquavers or 16th notes are a quarter of a beat each, and so 4 of those will be beamed together to make a crotchet beat. So we know that they're going to have to be beamed together. That's okay on its own. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters of a beat for semiquavers or for 16th notes that need to be beamed together. And then we've got a half a beat and 2 quarters. So half and 2 quarters makes a full beat. Now, if like me, math isn't your strong point, I always imagine there's my full beat and I'm thinking of quarters. So here I can see 1, 2, 3, 4 fills a beat, and then a half and 2 quarters fills a beat. So if you just visualize it like that, that's sometimes helpful. So 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters of a beat, and then we've got 2 halves. We can see that they will be beamed together, and of course we don't change these, we don't beam these because they're just 1 beat note. If we beam those, we change the time value. So that's the thinking done. We may just have to rearrange the way we use these stems now that we're grouping them together. Obviously the stems can't go different ways. However, before I do that, I'm just going to get the blobs in place, and I'm going to keep everything aligned so that I don't lose track where I am. And I'm not going to run out of space in each bar as well. So let's just be a bit more generous with colouring in my note heads there. Okay, so I'm just going to get the blobs in place, and then my brain's free to do the thinking for stems and so on in a moment. You can do this any order that you like, it really doesn't matter. You can beam as you go along now. I just prefer getting this done so my brain's free now. So by all means use a ruler if that helps. So these 4 are going to have to go together, so I'm going to just do the outside ones first so I know where I'm going. 2 beams to make those semiquavers or 16th notes. Just got a bit carried away there, just tidy up that bit there. That's on its own, and you can see I'm showing the direction as the note head's going up. I'm reflecting that in the stem length. Now here we're going to have to change which way the stems go to fit those all together. Now this must go up, this must go up because it's below the middle line. This can go either way. This is the one that would need to come down, but it's outvoted by these others. Also, that's only 1 step away, whereas this one's 2 steps out. So it's outvoted on 2 counts really. So the stems are going to have to go up, and that last note will have to just accommodate the other 3. There we go. Now these can come down because they all fit within that. Just there we go. Oh, let's show the 2 beams. Now here we're going to have to decide which way the stems go. So this should come down, this should go up, that can go either way, that must come down. So these 3 can come down. This one's going to have to just be outvoted for the sake of the rest of the group. And that's that. These can come down together, that's fine. And that's as it was before, no change. There we go, so that's that done. So there's a lot to think about. However, if you just take it a step at a time, it's easily managed. And so now we'll move on to the next question, where we're looking at some semitones. Now this is where it might be helpful if you just sketched out for yourself a quick visual aid of a piano keyboard. You can do that, and the exam to give you some scrap paper. It doesn't have to be a work of art, just so you can refer to it. And so we're asked to draw a circle around the higher of these pairs of notes. Now remember, so any note, if we flatten it, we go down a semitone. If we sharpen it, we go up a semitone. So that in itself will answer for us. So a flat lowers by a semitone, so the flat is therefore lower than the natural. If you're not sure though, you can just check on this piano keyboard. We've got an E flat and an E. E flat is obviously the lower of the pair. So let's carry on. So a sharp raises by a semitone. Oh, I've circled the wrong one. Dearie me. Let's just think again. We're circling the higher, so that's lowered. So the natural is the higher. Sorry, I got that the wrong way around there. Silly me. So a flat is lowered. The E natural is therefore higher. So we circle the natural. A sharp is higher. We can tell a sharp raises by a semitone. So we'll circle that one. A flat lowers, so therefore the natural must be higher. A flat lowers, therefore the natural is higher. A sharp raises, and so that will be the higher of the pair. And now in this next one we're to circle the lower one. And so if a sharp raises, the natural will therefore be lower. If you want to double check that, you can see a sharp raises, the natural will be lower. So that just clarifies that. And so again, the sharp raises, so the natural will be lower. A flat lowers by a semitone, and so the flat will be lower than the natural. Let's just look at that. There's a natural, there's a flat, so you can see how that works. A flat lowers by a semitone, so that will be lower. And then if a sharp raises, the natural will automatically be the lowest of the pair. There we go. And so let's move on to the next question. So if you turn with me to page 8. Oh, sorry, page 5, question 8. And actually I think what we'll do, we'll look at that in the next video. We'll give some time to that one in the next video. I do hope that's helpful to you. If you can give me a like, that'd be really fab. That'd be really encouraging to me. Please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's lots more in store. Please also do visit sharonbill.com and make use of all of the resource that's available to help you there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.